Hello, fellow bad boys and bad girls of the United Kingdom. I welcome you to my paradise here, my smoking cubicle of sorts and whatnot. I'm actually an American. I try to imitate and emulate the English accent here and there. I did have a drama teacher who told me back in high school that the Brits have, in the thespian realm, very little trouble emulating the American accent, toning it down a little bit, it would seem. Whereas vice versa, Americans have quite a great deal of trouble emulating the British accent altogether. And that makes sense because the British accent has so many inflections in it and whatnot, and we have to strive for different tones and raising and lowering of the voice at various points and whatnot. And I sound like a deep southern Londoner there, I think, at least to a certain extent. But I'm really just enjoying myself here and doing what I can to be a good YouTuber and smoker for you folks. But yeah, I don't love my American accent. I try to avoid the kind of I live in Wyoming, so I kind of try to avoid the inflection that comes with being around people at bars, God bless them, or at like restaurants, and people talk like this, like they're Elvish all the time, and I'm like trying to kind of delve away from that, you know, trying to keep myself a little bit more individualistic to a certain extent. But anyway, I have the kitty with me. I am going to smoke. She is okay. Fluff is okay. She's just doing her own thing. The door is wide open. The windows are aerated. The fan is on, obviously, as you can see through the reflection of the window. So if Fluff wants to leave at any minute during my smoking session, she certainly can. Gotta love Fluff. She's a very vocal kitty. And every time I go, yeah, she goes, meow. And I go, yeah, she goes, meow. She always likes having the last word. It's really great. Anyway, I'll feature a cigarette here that I've smoked quite a few times before. And do something a little bit musical on the side, too, if you guys would enjoy that. Anyway, Montclair Blue. Montclair Blue. P&S. And these things are really great. I don't know why the price was lowered down to $3.95. I've spoken about it on previous videos. And the fact that they're down to $3.95 in US dollars in Wyoming right now just astonishes me. We have a very popular chain of gas stations, kind of like mini markets, called Loaf and Jug. And I really appreciate them. They always have, you know, like you can go and get a hot dog or a sub sandwich or whatever, a Mountain Dew, whatever, you know, fits your fancy. But they also, here in the United States, usually gas stations typically serve tobacco as well. And I'm sure that's the case if you're in other Anglophone countries, or in, say, South Africa, for instance, or Kenya, or Saudi Arabia, or Russia, or anything like that. Yeah, they might be serving tobacco there as well in your gas stations for gas servicing and whatnot. The Philip Morris cigarette itself really is, for the Montclair Blue, it's not Philip Morris, it's Montclair Blue, pardon me. But these cigarettes are kind of, everything about them just screams light cigarette. Silver ensign, long white butt. They want to make sure that you're not getting too much of a hit there. Because really, you know, who is a red smoker anyway? Wink wink, I know probably about 60% of you guys are continuous red smokers if you're a connoisseur like I am of tobacco. But yeah, just when it comes to red cigarettes, you really want to get that hard hit continuously, and you might disperse your smoking, how many times you smoke a cigarette throughout the day, a little bit more rarement. But for me, with light cigarettes, I can just have 2 in a row, and it won't bother me. It won't irritate my lungs too much at this point in my life. It won't bother my throat too much. I do have a little bit of a sore throat recently, just because I've been going through a little bit of a cold, but I'm doing quite well, and I think the cigarette will certainly make me feel better, at least for the time being. So I'll go ahead and light up here right after I take a little sip of Fleischmann's and Pepsi. That's vodka, not gin. Anyway, here we go. The first aspect of the cigarette that I immediately notice, and the first thing that immediately hits me, is the flavor. I haven't really gotten my lung hit yet. I've definitely been smoking throughout the day, at least one every couple of hours or so. And when you kind of become more accustomed and acclimatized to the cigarette, so to say, especially at my elevation, I suppose, a mile higher or so, like you Denver folk. By the way, if you're from Denver, please comment below. Denver is like our nearest metropolitan area, so I want to say hi to all my cannabis smokers out there in a legal sense. But yeah, you get the gist of it. The first thing I noticed about this cigarette, since I've been smoking all day, is the toastiness of it and just the flavor and the the calmness of it. But it's a very pungent flavor. I know the tobacco has been well cured, and definitely has been befitted to my taste, which I really enjoy and I really strive for in a cigarette. But yeah, guys, one of the most common questions I'm asked about my videos, and I haven't really been uploading many tobacco videos recently, here and there. One of the most common questions I'm continuously asked, whether it be my previous channels or my current one, Snowy Croquet, on and off and on, would be the question of, when did you start smoking? How did you start smoking? How many cigarettes do you smoke per day? Yeah, guys, I definitely smoke almost a pack per day. I'm right around that realm where just cigarette smoking becomes a typical part of my life. And I don't want to be like the guy from that movie with Aaron Eckhart, Thank You for Not Smoking, or Thank You for Smoking, Thank You for Smoking, the lobbyist movie, where he gets attacked by terrorists who are apparently anti-tobacco in a sense, which is kind of surprising to me that people would be so dogged in any worldly sense to want to attack a lobbyist of tobacco. But I understand people do get that passionate about things in the modern day world, so that's just a part of reality and something we have to cope with, whether it be through alcohol or vaping or taking your dog for a walk in the park and having a vegetable sandwich, which I would love to do, by the way, tomorrow. That sounds really nice and healthy, actually. I tried to become vegan at one point and then it didn't work for me, but because chicken is so good and so is turkey, oh my word. Ah, yes. It's a very somber reality, thinking that, in a sense, our lungs can just become so accustomed to kind of striving for that kind of animal high and stress relief. I actually had a friend recently tell me, a really good buddy tell me, that cigarette smoking, in a philosophical sense, is not per se stress relief. It does give you a euphoric mentality in a sense. It does relieve you immediately, physically as well, in a subconscious sense as well. I would say, like, say for instance you went for a long walk and you just laid down for the first time in say several hours. You're laying down and then you smoke your first cigarette in say 7 or 8 hours. If you're a smoker, you'd know that that would be a really tremendous smoke, because the long extent of time that it takes for you to actually build up the tensity. I like to call it the tensity, or the demand for a cigarette. And the head high would be one of the first initial realizations of smoking after, say, such a long period of time and such an extent. But I definitely feel like the euphoric sense is there. It's just some people have told me, who are anti-smoking, and I'm absolutely for that. I believe that if you want to stay healthy, you want to stay akin to your own hobbies that don't deal with vices. That's very good. But at the same time, it is still kind of a stress relief for me. I know it causes stress, and it can cause at least a little level of grumpiness, is what the person was basically saying. It causes grumpiness. But I'm like, well, it causes grumpiness, and it also relieves, a lot of factors of, built up stresses and anger and, feelings of loss, or feelings of built up tension. Just, we look for outlets continuously in life. We look for ways to strive for seeing the distance, in the reality of our own human minds and what we're limited by in our own human minds, for sure. Well, I'm almost done with my smoky jokey there. So I'm going to go ahead and put that out. Just wanted to give you guys a little tidbit. This video is already breaching almost 10 minutes at this current extent. So I'm going to take one more sip of vodka. Show you this lighter that has actually surprisingly lasted me beyond the extent of 2 weeks. Usually I never have a lighter longer than a week and a half because some acquaintance accidentally pockets it, which I have done before as well, actually. But, hey. Fleshman's Tuesday night fun whirl. What a whirl. Anyway, I'll end the night with a nice little etude. This is a, if we have any harmonica fans out there, this is a Gentleman's Hardware harmonica bought from Marshall's store. I received it as a Christmas present from my mother. I actually used to collect diatonic harmonicas. And this one is actually a tremolo, which means it has various chords on it and several holes, quite a few holes. Each row is 2 holes. So I'll play a little tune. I'm just going to improvise and, you know, nothing too melodious. I just think it'd be kind of fun to end a smoking video with a harmonica. So away we go. Little bluesy. Au revoir.